Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life TV show. Hi, I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. I'm your host, and I also host a women's group called Ladies Power Lunch. You're probably wondering if you've never watched this show before, what's Ladies Power Lunch? And also, how can I become a member? Well, I'm glad you asked. Ladies Power Lunch is a wonderful place where women, just like me, just like my guest today, and just like you, come together in community. Our intention is to support each other so that everybody wins. That's all sorts of women in business who show up to be a part of this amazing group. We're talking about women who might own larger businesses, women who might own smaller businesses. Some of the women are entrepreneurs, some are solopreneurs, some are in corporate life, some are in nonprofit, some are even retired. But what keeps us together is this idea that when we support each other, everybody wins. And so that thing that you're struggling with in your life or in your business, there is somebody in our group who's been there, who's done that, who's bought the t-shirt. And she is not only been there, but she's willing to help support you as you go through your journey so that you don't have to do it alone. And it can be a whole lot easier. So I invite you, come join us. Just go to growsmarter.com/Facebook and come be a part of an amazing community of women who really believe in supporting each other. On with the show. Today's guest is Noely. She's an amazing friend of Ladies Power Lunch. She's one of our outstanding members. But not just that, she actually is one of the best-selling authors of our newest Ladies Power Lunch anthology called Live Your Optimal Life. So Noely, best-selling author Noely, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is great.
It's awesome to have you on the show, Noely. And before we dive into this goodness about living your optimal life, can you share with our audience a little bit about who you are and about the amazing stuff that you are doing in the world?
Yes, absolutely. And before I get started, I love what you said about how when we support each other, we all win. And that's one of the things that I've always carried with me, right? As a woman, right? We always want to make sure that we're supporting each other, that no matter what we're going through in life, we have that special someone in our lives that we could say, hey, I'm going through this. I need to talk to you. I need to vent. And there's no judgment. There's no, looking at that person in a different way because that's what we're there for, to support each other. So like you said, my name is Noely Sanchez, and my husband and I own a photography business. So we are in contact with individuals all the time. We do everything from headshots, weddings, events, birthdays, babies, pregnancies, maternity shoots. So, we are interacting with people all the time. And, in order for you to do that job, you have to have happy face, making sure people are comfortable around your space, making sure that they feel that, what they're there for is worth it, right? But also during my day job, I am the administrative manager for Community Partners in Action. We are almost 150-year-old nonprofit in Hartford, Connecticut, and we've been helping individuals that are criminally impacted, justice impacted. They've been incarcerated, or they had any issues with in criminal justice, and we help them re-enter back in the community to be a better version of themselves. So I work as a project manager, also in charge of IT, and I have multiple hats in our agency. So the interaction with individuals is something I love to do. That's why when you said, supporting each other, we all win. I love that because that is exactly what I do in my job, doing art photography and also in my nonprofit.
I believe so firmly in this idea of us all linking arms and supporting each other, putting ourselves in a better position to be able to support the people that we are here to support. So I feel like it's a ripple effect, right? Because you help me and then I'm better and then I can help the people I'm supposed to help and then they're better and they can help their people and on it goes. And I don't know, I have these grandiose ideas sometimes, but I really do believe that it helps the world to be a
Absolutely.
better place. I
Absolutely.
I just really believe that. So thank you, Noely, for being a part of the Ladies Power Lunch anthology, Live Your Optimal Life. I'm just curious, why did you say yes? Was there something about the topic that sort of resonated with you that made you say yes to being a part of the anthology?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I think about when you live your optimal life is living your life the best that you can, right? And when I was approached to do this, and I wanted to do this, I was thinking of way of how can I shine that light into other people that may read this book, that would read my chapter. Unfortunately, I went through some tragedy in my life this past summer. So writing part of, what I'm sharing in my chapter was a little hard for me to process and to be able to um, communicate that. But that also gave me a reason, even more of a reason to communicate to people why to live your optimal life. So, it was kind of a combination between me wanting to express, how to live your life a certain way based on what I've experienced, but also the tragedy that we experienced, me and my family, to be able to then even more bring some light into someone's life.
I've talked to all the authors, and every single person has said that yes, it's been a great opportunity to share my gifts and talents with everyone else and hopefully support somebody who might need that work. But it's also been transformative for me. It's also been cathartic for me. And so it's interesting that that through line also resonates with you feeling exactly the same way. That's wonderful. A lot of people, when they hear us talk about live your optimal life, they might not get it, and they might be thinking that we're talking about, living a flashy lifestyle, having all the things. And so I would like for you, Noelle, in your own words, to share with our audience when we talk about living your optimal life, what does that mean for you? What comes to mind for you?
Well, to me, it's a few things. And without giving too much of my chapter, I will kind of highlight a little bit of what that means to me, right? Because part of what I wrote to begin my chapter was that tomorrow is not promised. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, right? You live today, we go to bed, we wake up and we, live our life, but we don't know what that day is going to bring, and it's not promised. So to me, one of the key things is to understand that the day that we have today, live it to your max, right? And we know that we're busy. We're women that, have families, have our business. Like you mentioned, we are living, working corporate or nonprofit. We have a whole bunch of things that we have to take care of in our daily life. But with more reason, right? Like if we are not optimal, how can we take care of those things and those people that are in our lives? So to me, it was a combination between wanting to make sure that you understand that tomorrow is not promised, but how do you honor your life through that journey every day to be able to live your optimal life? And I highlight those things in my chapter.
I love that you focus in on living every day to your best. There's a workshop that I do when we do ladies power lunch retreats together. And I feel like it's a really powerful workshop. We usually do it on day one, just giving you all a little peek behind the curtain. Usually do it on day one, and it's a lifeline exercise, and it's we give everybody like graph paper, and they have an opportunity to write their life from the day they were 0 years old to 100. Let's say we live to 100, right? Because my grandma, I don't know, she was 104. It's possible, folks.
Yeah, it is.
And just looking at where you are now and how much life you have left ahead of you, how much you have the opportunity to make every single moment of that time that's left count.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a powerful exercise because a lot of the times for a lot of people, we're sort of on this hamster wheel where every day is routine and the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you my day. I get up, I take care of kids, I put them on the bus, I come to work, I take care of patients, I leave work, I go home, I take care of kids, I go to bed, and then the next day, guess what I
And
do?
over and over.
I do it all again. Some days we sprinkle in a little go to the gym in there on some of the days, but that's not unusual
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would ask you, because we love people who watch the show, they come here because they get good takeaways. They get things that they can take and they can use in their lives. I would love for you to share with us, if you could just wrap us all in a big hug and give us one piece of advice for how we can actually live our optimal life, live our best life, live every day to the fullest. What would that one piece of advice be?
One thing that I would say, and I think as women, we sometimes are so harsh on ourselves, right? Oh, I look a certain way. Oh, I feel a certain way. Oh, I'm not worthy enough. One thing that I would say is, how can you truly love yourself? The word love is such an impactful word. And a lot of times we don't even think about it when it comes to ourselves. We think about it when we love our kids, when we love our spouse, we love our job, we love what we do. But what about ourselves? So one takeaway that I would put in is how can you truly love yourself? and not putting it in like, oh, I would love myself better if I lost 5 pounds. So I would love myself better if I looked a certain way, or if I had, whatever the case may be, right? Because we tend to criticize ourselves so much. But how can you truly love yourself? Like, how do you enjoy your own company? How do you enjoy what you do day in and day out, but also honoring yourself? Because in the craziness of life, we tend to forget what we love and what we like. And there's so much freedom when we truly love ourselves and we truly give ourselves an opportunity to be able to do that. And now that doesn't mean that you're going to go out now and, find a new hobby, or, tell your family, I'm going to spend time with myself this weekend, so I don't have time for you. That, I mean, you could if you wanted to, because that is amazing if you could take some time off.
I'm feeling like I should just, hop off to a spa retreat weekend this
Hey,
weekend now that
and
you're
that would be amazing,
bringing this all
right?
up.
If you're able to do that, go to a spa retreat, get yourself a massage. I mean, those are one of the things that I do for myself. Like, I love getting massages. That is like my treat for self-care. Um, but that is one thing that I do to love myself, right? Like, I want to feel like all the stress that I have on my shoulders when I work out, when I'm at work and stressed, I want that to be released. And that's one of the ways that I truly love myself, taking care of myself. So it could start with something very small, right? Like, if, let's say, for example, you are in the journey of losing weight or being healthy. It starts with you putting on a pair of sneakers and maybe just walking around the dining room in your house. If you have a smartwatch that is calculating your steps, going around your dining room table, or stepping outside your door and taking a little walk around up and down the street. It doesn't have to be something crazy. What I'm trying to say is that truly loving yourself, it's really spending time with yourself and honoring who you are to be the best version of you.
That's it right there. Honoring yourself and giving yourself that opportunity to be the best version of you. Because what I know for sure, Noelle, is that we're doing the things that we're doing. We're taking care of our kids, we're taking care of things at work, we're hopefully trying to take care of ourselves. But if we're not at peak performance, if we're not in our living our best life, being the optimal version of ourselves, then actually we're shortchanging
Mhm.
every single one of those areas. We're going to be doing probably okay at work, but how would we be doing at work if we were in optimal
Right.
form? How would we be with our families? This
Mhm.
this is so meaningful to me. How would I be with my boys, all three of them, if I am when I am optimal? I'm on. I'm
Mhm.
a better parent. I'm a better doctor. I'm a better host on this show. Okay. It's unlikely I'm ever going to be a better host on this show, but all the other things will be better. But I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
share with us a little bit. You don't have to give it all away, because we really do want people to go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket and actually get their copy of Live Your Optimal Life, which is full of amazing stories of triumph from
Mhm.
wonderful women who've been there and done that. And every chapter, at the end of each chapter, there is a worksheet for integration. So people have an opportunity to say, okay, how does this apply to me? And how can I make my life better?
Mhm.
So just tell us a little bit about your chapter.
Well, in my chapter, I break down 4 different sections, and I walk you through, what living your optimal life is. And I'm just going to share those headlines just to give you a little bit of a intriguing, for you to look at the chapter. So one of them is what we spoke earlier. Tomorrow is not promised. Honoring your life, being healthy, and a full life. So in those 4 sections, I break down, what does that mean to me and how could it help you? Because as I mentioned, tomorrow is not promised, and I have like this little theme that I go through the 4 sections. So tomorrow is not promised. So how can you honor your life by living your optimal life today? How can you be healthy? And that could be many different things, as I mentioned, right? And being healthy, and then also having a full life. And what I mean by that is, what are you passionate about? What drives you, right? Sometimes we could think of it as the work that we do, right? We love our job. We love, I love, for example, photography. I love working with my husband and doing that job. But there's other things that I'm passionate about. There's other things that I want to do with my life, or I do with my life, that I'm passionate about. And one of the things that I mentioned is be the best version of yourself. There's nobody else like you in the world. There's only one Dr. Davia. There's only one Noely. There's only one of you. You are the best author in your life. So when you are doing the things that you're passionate about, know what you're doing. Be really good at it. Be really good at it, because nobody else is like you. And so in those 4 sections, I kind of walk you through, what does that mean? When I talk about tomorrow's not promised, I talk a little bit about trauma. I talk a little bit about, things that scare us a little bit and how can we overcome that. And then I go on in my chapter just kind of encouraging you. I'm often known as the positive friend, the one that always look like the most optimistic things about life. And whenever there is, I know, right? Whenever there is something, heavy that is happening, obviously you're gonna suffer through it. You're gonna have your feelings through it, but also looking at the positive side. Like, how can I get out of this and not dwell so much in that pain? And not everybody's the same. And I understand that not everybody's going to be like me. Not everybody's going to be like the chippy friend that is going to, be positive and happy all the time. But I think it's a great quality to have, because there's so much heaviness in this world. There's so much sadness in this world, that when you face life with a positive mindset, everything around you changes, right? You are responsible for everything that happens outside of you, right? Everything else, you really have no control. But if you then feed into everything that's happening outside of you, you're going to feel like this. You're going to shrink in your life. It's just going to feel a whole mess. But if you open yourself up and you breathe, we did a little breathing exercise before starting this, right, Dr. Davia? You breathe and you open yourself to new possibilities, to new things that could happen in your life. To me, that's just living your optimal life.
That's so profound. I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Of course.
People are gonna want to know, okay, Noelle, I hear what you're saying, but what are some of the things that I really should be focused on? And what are the things that I should be avoiding in order to be able to live my optimal life?
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
some do's and don'ts.
so some do's and don'ts is, um, when you have experienced some life altering things in your life, how are you viewing that? How are you reacting to those life altering experiences? Are you shining your light brighter, or are you dimming yourself? Right. So you always want to think of the positive things that you could do in any situation. It may be hard. It may be really, tough to get out of that mud and not being able to come out. But how are you shining that light within you to be able to overcome it, right? So always think about the positive things that you could be doing in any type of situation, as bad as they could be. Sometimes we can't even think about the positive things when we're going through something hard, but how can you have light in your life when you're going through something life altering? And then also, if you feel like you do or you do not belong in a space, how can you have your voice heard? How can you love yourself more to be able to, right, bring that light again? And then how do you honor your life? What are you doing? What is your passion? Write those things down. It's important. Like, writing is so freeing for me. I sometimes write and I don't even understand what I'm writing, because I'm writing really fast and my thoughts are just going through my head. But, how can you honor your life and live your passion? By thinking of the positive things that you could do. How can you shine your light? How can you have your voice heard? And I'm just giving you some tips on how to have that positiveness in your life, rather than just continuing to be, just sit in that darkness, if you are in that darkness, or you don't know how to get out of something. And that could improve so much of your life. That improves your mental health, that improves your well-being, that improves how you treat other people. And that could give you that right? That necessary step or momentum to be able to make a change in your life if you need to.
I love all of those. Those are outstanding suggestions. So if you were to, give us a little piece of homework, something that we can take away from this conversation today and go do it at home until we see you again next time, what can we do?
What I will ask you to do is write down a few goals. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be, life changing. I'm going to, accomplish this by, giving yourself a date, a time frame to do so. But just write a few goals on how you're going to improve yourself, right? How are you going to make yourself even better than what you are? And if you feel that I've accomplished this goal, I'm in my optimal weight, I'm excelling at my business, we all have stuff that we still got to work on, so dig deep inside of you and just write down a few goals to how to improve your well-being, how to improve a situation that you may be going through. You, like I mentioned earlier, you are unique. You are your own self. Nobody else is like you. So there must be something that you are experiencing or that you want to accomplish. One of the things that I'm going to share is that I'm very active in my physical, so I work out. And one of the things that I wanted to accomplish was to run half a marathon. And I'm training for that. And I'm going to run the half marathon next Saturday. And I am freaking out a little bit, but that is one of the goals that I have set for myself. So I said mentally, like, how can I improve, my cardio? How can I improve, feeling better after doing certain things? So I had to make some changes. So that's what I'm asking you, not this goal of, right, running a half a marathon, but what are goals that you could write down, very simple, to improve your well-being, to improve how you're feeling, and then lead you to live in your optimal life?
I love that. And I love that you're training for the half marathon. I'm looking forward to when I see you in another week or so. You tell me how it went and all of that fun stuff. Make sure you take lots of pictures
I
and
will.
post them inside the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group so that we can all celebrate with
Absolutely.
you. That would be wonderful. And I mean, I'm saying to our audience that sometimes when you make a goal for self-improvement, it really doesn't have to be something big. I have a goal and it sits on my to-do list and it's just one word, breathe.
That's a good one.
Because how many of us and how many times do we rush through the day and we're getting this done and we're getting that done and we not even one time took a moment to say
Mhm.
hello to our lungs and just take in an extra breath, hold that breath and exhale.
Yeah.
Simple, simple
Simple.
thing,
Mhm.
but we do need oxygen, and we're so many of us not oxygenated enough.
Mhm.
And
Another
so
thing that I would say is have a cup of water. Have a cup.
hydrate.
Hydrate.
Yes,
It is so good for you. You're gonna feel so much better. And sometimes we're just thirsty.
yes, yeah,
So having, like having a cup sitting right next to you on your desk, next to your computer, something as small as that to remind you, oh, I got to refill my cup. I got to get up. So you're getting up, you're getting some movement, you're breathing, and you're putting in some hydration in your body. So little things like that, little goals, they don't have to be big at all. But the point is, like, what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing to honor yourself and to ultimately then live that optimal life? Because with smaller goals, they bring you to the bigger goals, right? And that's how
yes.
how you accomplish them.
Yeah, one of our members, she wrote this book, How to Eat the Elephant. Spoiler alert, it's one bite at a time. You
Exactly.
could get through that whole elephant, the whole elephant. You could get through the herd, one bite at a time. So yes, I absolutely resonate with that. Are you tuned into anything right now that you think is helping you to live your optimal life that you think maybe we might benefit from? Like maybe a book you might be reading or a podcast you might be tuning into, or maybe it might be an app that you found that's changed your life in magical ways. I don't know. What's exciting for you right now?
So there's a couple of things. So knowing that I got to take care of myself. Me and my husband are very active, so we are engaged in making sure that we're working out every day. We are working through a company that is out of North Carolina, that we got connected to at the beginning of the year, and it's mind blowing how pretty much what I'm saying, like having goals could change your mindset, right? It's like from eating better to understanding, what is it that you need to change. So, and you could do that with anything when it comes to health and fitness, right? Just find something that feels good for you. Find something that is attainable, right? That is realistic. It's not something, some people it's like, oh, I just want to I want to lose like 50 pounds. And they do crazy stuff, and that's not realistic. That is not realistic. Put yourself a goal. Like, let's say you want to go to a wedding next year, or you want to look better, when you go on vacation with your family. Those little goals start today and then see how you're doing by the time you finish. Another thing that I am doing is I'm reading. I'm Puerto Rican, so my Hispanic heritage is very important to me, and so I am reading books that are from Latino authors. So that is one of the things that I kind of spoil myself with. I like just kind of, it sounds really corny, but I just like cuddling in my on my couch with my blanket and reading a good book. So those are two things that I'm doing right now that are really prevalent because there's some things, those things that make me feel good, make me feel happy. So grabbing a book, grab a book, and we have great authors that are part of LPL. Grabbing a good book, as you can see behind Dr. Davia, grabbing a good book. And I like to just listen to very soothing music. Putting, my husband actually found in Spotify book reading music, something as simple as that. And he gives you like this whole different types of radio stations, and you're just sitting there relaxing, reading your book. So those are a few things that I'm currently doing that hopefully could help you.
Well, I'm definitely going to check out that book reading music Spotify playlist because everybody knows that I love to curl up with a good book. It's not as often that I get to do that with how hectic things can get
Hmm.
sometimes, but it's really, really something that I enjoy. And having its own playlist,
Hmm.
I'm about that.
I love saving playlists. I mean, I have playlists for working out. I have playlists
Mhm.
for cooking. I love, playlists for reading. There's a playlist for everything out there. So, music is huge in my life and in my husband's life. So we love dancing and we love listening to music. So there's always different types of music playing in our home. Like last night we had company over and we had like some Latin jazz playing in the background. It's just like there's I think there's music for every theme in your life. So, you're searching for something, whether it's your favorite app store or music store on your phone, and it just brings like this airness and this lightness to your life when you have music around. It just makes any chore better. You're working out, you have good music, it makes it better. You're cleaning, you have good music, it makes it better.
It makes it go faster.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that if more of us had more music in our lives, the world would definitely be an even better
Oh
place.
yeah, it will be so much happier world.
Absolutely. Noelle, people are going to want to connect with you. They're going to want to know how to find you. How can they reach out to you?
All right, so I am on Facebook, so you could find me under my own name, Noely S. Velez. But also under our JCV Freelance Photography, we do have a Facebook page that you could find us there, or our website, jcv-pics.com. That's the one way to reach me, reach us if you're interested in getting any pictures taking. Hey, you could book us for just because you feel that, I'm going to treat myself to look a little because I feel pretty or I feel, worthy enough to have my pictures taken. We love seeing how people feel about themselves. So capturing, I say I have a phrase, capturing beauty one frame at a time. That's what, kind of like what we do. So that's how you could connect with me. In our website, you could find our email. But on Facebook, we do have JCV Freelance Photography. And also you can connect with me, send me a friend request. I love connecting with people and hopefully, giving them more tips on how to live their optimal life.
Lovely. I love that. So at the end of every show, Noelle, I pull a card. I have all these decks with all these different cards, and they have some positive affirmations or some positive reading that goes along with a card. What I find is that it seems like it pulls whatever's going on in my subconscious to the forefront, and I'm always able to find some meaning in the cards. And it's interesting because depending on what's going on in my life at any particular time, I could pull the same card and totally get a different message from it. So I pulled a card today, and it's from the Love Your Inner Goddess guidebook by Alana Fairchild.
I love
And
that
while you
cover.
were talking, I know the art is so beautiful on this
Mhm.
deck. I think I bought it because I love the art. It was just beautiful. So the card I pulled while you were talking is this one. She's called Gaia. And the reading says, it's the right time or soon will be for things to come together for you. I'm talking to you. If there's something that you really believe in, but have been waiting for a long time to bring to life or to see succeed, here's good news that something is beginning to stir, and at the right time, things are going to fall into place. There's a bigger question of divine timing about these matters, and it is not that you are or are not doing something right. Do not give up, but do give in to the wise timing of the Earth Mother, who knows how to grow all souls, all things into perfect fullness of divine expression. Is this card saying anything special to you, Noelle?
Absolutely. I think every single thing that you said there, um, it's all about timing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think living your optimal life, it's about the timing, right? It's about giving yourself the time to get where you need to be to have your optimal life. So not only with my chapter, because I'm going to plug it for every author in our book, they are going to give you tips on how to live the optimal life, right? Because it's all about timing. It's all about what you're giving yourself and how you're honoring yourself to live that full life and your divine self. We are divine beings and we have to honor ourselves. We have to.
We absolutely do. This is a beautiful card. both the art and the words that are coming through. I'm definitely going to have to spend a little time taking a look at it. And I will post the card inside the Ladies Power Lunch group. So I invite y'all to come on in, growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook, and come have some conversation. Tell us what you think the card is saying to you today. Noely, it's been amazing having you here
Thank
on the show.
you.
So glad
Thank you
to
so
appreciate
much.
you. Thanks for being a part of our show today, and definitely thank you for being a part of the Live Your Optimal Life anthology. And for those of you who haven't gotten your copy as yet, just go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket, and you're going to get your book, plus you're going to get a bunch of other bonus things that are going to be really, really outstanding for you. Thanks, Noely. Thanks,
You're
everybody, for
welcome.
watching, and I'll see you all on the next show. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.